Hello Year 9, I hope you are well. I know you've been working really hard to strengthen your writing skills using a range of punctuation in particular. Here is a video looking at that almighty piece of punctuation, the semicolon, just in case you need a little bit of extra help. Because rule number 1 is never ever comma splice. So in case you're wondering what a comma splice error is, put simply, it's when a comma is used to separate two independent clauses. And although you may read examples, maybe online, of people comma splicing, you should avoid it in your academic writing. So when should you use a semicolon? Well, one of the ways that we're going to be looking at today is to link two independent clauses together. What is an independent clause, I hear you ask? An independent clause essentially is a complete idea or a complete thought that could stand alone as a sentence if it wanted to. And I guess the last question that you have is why you should endeavour to use semicolons. Well, when used sparingly, semicolons have the power to elevate your writing to the next level. And examiners and indeed your teachers really appreciate students who have a good understanding of the nuts and bolts or the mechanics of the English language and how punctuation works. So without further ado, let's get on with today's lesson and learn how to use semicolon correctly. So let's have a read of this sentence. Thailand is a beautiful country. There are many incredible islands to visit. Now take a closer look. Can you spot anything wrong with this sentence? Those of you who recognise that there's a comma to separate two independent clauses, well done. So what should we replace the comma with? Of course, we should replace the comma with a semicolon. You may also be wondering if there are any other ways to fix a comma splice error. Well, there are two ways actually. So now I've removed the semicolon, but it needs some punctuation for it to make sense. Can you figure out what punctuation I can insert here for it to make sense? Well, if you said a full stop, well done. Just remember, if you put a full stop here to fix the comma splice error, then of course you need to capitalize the T. The other way to fix a comma splice error, of course, is to use a connective. And the most suitable connective would probably be because. So your sentence will read, Thailand is a beautiful country because there are many incredible islands to visit. Now let's look at a couple more examples. Mr. Pays has 3 cats. He's not allowed anymore. So again, hopefully you've noticed that I've made yet another comma splice error. So let's fix it. So of course, Mr. Pays has 3 cats is an independent clause. He's not allowed anymore, which is very true, is another independent clause. So the semicolon is going to separate those two independent clauses. And of course, if we wanted to, we could turn these two ideas into 2 separate sentences. But again, do not forget the capital letter. Now let's look at one more example. The student studied hard for his exam. He passed it with flying colours. This time, I've not included any punctuation. Do you know where the semicolon goes? Well, the first step is to identify the 2 independent clauses. The student studied hard for his exam. That is a complete thought. It could be a sentence. It could stand alone as a sentence if it wanted to. He passed it with flying colours could also stand alone as a sentence. So of course, if you said that the semicolon goes here, well done, you're correct. I hope today's video has been useful. Just to summarise, once you know how to use semicolons, use them sparingly. And remember, avoid comma splicing, particularly with your academic writing. And if you choose not to use a semicolon, that's okay as well. But just remember to use a full stop or a suitable connective to join up 2 independent clauses.